From Sportskeeda, 3 major firms, JPMorgan, AT&T, and Duncan? Wow, reportedly stopped Twitch ads due to allegations of anti-Semitism. But, this is the Twitch adpocalypse getting worse. All these leftists that are on Twitch are losing massive sums of money. But for those that missed the previous, I just want to shout this out as well. When you go on Blue Sky or X right now, after the assassination of this healthcare CEO, and you see all these leftists cheering for it, yeah, that's why big brands don't want to advertise. Because nobody wants to put their toothpaste next to a guy advocating for murder. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Here's the story. They say American multinational, JPMorgan Chase & Co., telecommunication giant AT&T, and Dunkin' Donuts parent company Dunkin' Brands have reportedly stopped rolling advertisements on Twitch. This move comes following allegations of anti-Semitism being levied against the Purple platform over the past few months. Further, a fourth firm, Chevron Corp., is also reportedly considering terminating future sponsorships for Twitch's signature TwitchCon convention after a controversial panel involving Twitch content creator Frogan took place at this year's event in San Diego with the petroleum company's name and logo in the background. Oh, why? What did he do?
So Frogan was on a panel, and they were saying that they were listing streamers as either halal for good or sabra for bad. And sabra is I guess it's a company.
Popular hummus.
It's a hummus.
That community.
Yeah, I guess it's kosher or it's Israeli. That it's a company.
Sabra
Israeli
hummus.
company. I believe so.
It's good. They got the roasted red pepper ones.
Yeah, but the point was, if you're sabra, you're a bad person. If you're halal, you're a good one.
And that was like a
it was
Jewish
Jewish. Yeah, it was a Jewish reference.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean,
Dude, they've been doing this stuff for like a decade, and we've been complaining about how the woke are hypocrites and they're racist and they're sexist and all the things they claim that everybody else is. And now the companies are like, oh.
Well, I mean, not only is it there's Frogan, but there's also currently Destiny's fans are going after Hassan, and they're reporting him for anti-Semitism. So between Destiny, his whatever you want to call his people, just constantly mass reporting Hassan for anti-Semitism, it's finally broken through, or it seems that it's finally broken through to, the advertisers and stuff. And I mean, look, Hassan is anti-Semitic. I'm not gonna defend Hassan. I'm not one for mass brigading people and stuff like that, especially when the people that are doing it is Destiny, who's kind of a piece of garbage as well. So I mean, the things that he's said about MAGA supporters or the Trump supporters and stuff, he's lambasted all conservatives. He's made personal attacks at Tim. So he's garbage too. So I kind of hope they kill injure each other's streams badly. And I don't want to say the wrong thing, but
you mean cause political damage to each other?
Exactly. I hope they do a bunch of damage to each other. But it is because of that kind of stuff that anti-Semitism that Hassan engages in regularly. And Frogan's worse than Hassan, which is hilarious. But
they've been doing it for years and no one seemed to care. I really wonder if it has to do with Trump won the popular vote by a landslide, and all of a sudden you're starting to see these companies do more regular conservative type of advertisements. Like who was there's that car company that did a very conservative ad, and then Target even has changed the way they lay out their stores again. So
who has?
Target.
Oh.
Because how Target had all the controversy with what they were pushing during Pride Month, and now all of a sudden they're saying Merry Christmas again, which they dare not do that before Donald Trump got, 80 million?
There was, I guess a federal court ruled today that Target may have violated federal security laws by failing to disclose the risks.
We do have that story.
Oh, never mind then. We'll wait for it then. Sorry for go ahead.
No, but it just seems like all of a sudden all these companies care about not advertising on Twitch because of the popular vote. It's not because any of these companies necessarily believe in what this is, or they want to shut down a Frogan, or they want to shut down a Hassan. They just don't want to be caught in the wrong side of what's currently trending online right now. They're in it to make money.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that you're right that the fact that that there was such a strong, change in, or a strong signal sent from the American people is probably the best way to say it. Because even if people will nitpick as to whether or not it was a landslide for Donald Trump, but what you can't do is say that there wasn't a landslide for the right. I think that it was something like 11 counties in California moved to the right and shifted red. If you look at the shift nationwide, there's a massive shift for policies that are more conservative. A lot of this, I think, is because of the backlash from a lot of the stuff that went on with defund the police and stuff, and the border situation. I think that people are seeing those things. If they're not seeing them in real life and in their day-to-day lives, they're seeing the results on social media. They're hearing the stories. So I think that it's undeniable that there has been a shift from the left to the right in the U.S., and I think that you're probably right. You're seeing it with advertisers, but you're also like we had Cenk on last night from the Young Turks, and both Cenk and Anna have had a bit of at the very least. I think Anna's made a shift to the right, but I think that at the very least, Cenk is softening on the on opening the doors to discuss things with the right, where for a long time it was outside of acceptable conversation to say, yes, I'll talk to conservatives.
I'll give Cenk some credit because he has made the point for a long time we should accept the victories we can where we agree with the right. He's made that point whether you agree with him or not. He says Trump was an insurrectionist and all these things I totally disagree with. But I've seen him several years ago being like, hey, if the right wants to end foreign wars or whatever, let's take what we can get. And more recently, he got flack because he tweeted at Elon like, they're talking about making it so that generals can't work in the defense contractors for 10 years or whatever. Like, this is a great thing to do. Ban them from doing this. They overspend on purpose to get then once they're done with their term or they leave the military or whatever, they go with these defense contractors, and the left attacked them for agreeing with Elon.
Yeah.
Well, I've watched, what is it, Anna Kasparian? Anna Kasparian I believe her shift right is very genuine because of what happened to her, I believe, when she was walking her dog, and she said that it was like transients attacked her, and then she saw the backlash she got for saying, hey, I'm in danger in Los Angeles County. Why can't I request safety from the police? But Cenk, how do you say his name? Cenk.
With a
I mean,
J.
I saw him on election night kind of going down with the ship, and all of a sudden, I don't follow him enough, so you guys know him better than I do, but when he's reemerged, now he seems to be very open to Trump and very open to the conservative point of view, and it's almost like, does he see the writing on the wall? I'm not going down with CNN, MSNBC, and all the other woke media outlets. I need to become more centrist so I can capture the actual audience that isn't propped up by bots.
My take on Cenk, I'd like to see him, is that he's what you would define as a good faith actor. Whether you agree with him or not, or you like him or you don't, he's always been acted out of what he truly believes. He's like a hothead at times, but like
I would say he's hot-headed, emotional, wrong, and I'd give him the good faith thing. But the reason why I add the hot-headed stuff is because often he's so wrong he can't see straight.
when he's like,
He's like so emotional about it.
Yeah, and he'll admit it too. He admitted it last night. He's like, sometimes I go,
He's I got to be honest, with all due respect, this is going to piss off everybody, but he's got an element of left-wing Alex Jones. Right, the left.
I love him.
He does.
Looks like
For
it.
40 years, man.
People were posting a video from the show of him going like this with his arms next to Alex Jones doing the same thing.
We got to
They
get
don't
them in a room
agree.
together.
They don't agree, but they both have those moments of getting heated and
Culture
going,
war.
"Wow."
That's your culture war episode.
Reverse
Cenk and Alex.
Dude, if we got Cenk Uygur and Alex Jones on one show,
They'd do it. They'd both do it.
I think they would
that'd
actually.
be
Yeah,
fun.
So I can appreciate
it would
it.
be insane.
He definitely when I was talking to him, I was like, complaining about the way that he was framing it and how people were, framing the situation with the Senate and how senators are elected and what their designated role is. He was like really just yelling over me as if me articulating my point was going to be a bad thing, and it was very Alex Jonesy. I can't.
Well, a lot really pushes buttons.
That I thought they were going to get into it.
Oh, it was fun to watch. I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, I don't want to miss it. I just turned the volume up really loud because I had to walk out of the room. I'm like,
It was a cacophony of.
And then it cut to you, and you're like smiling and watching.
And then I'm like, okay, guys, now it's just.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that then, because I know a lot of people in Los Angeles that are like that, where if you only watch CNN and what famous celebrities said about news cycle items, you would probably be like him too, because you'd think Trump is after you. He was attacking the Capitol, all that stuff, where if he means well, he just is misled, then he's like, what do you say, a good faith liberal.
Yeah, based in communication first. Like that seems like his number one tenet is communication. He said something last night that was like, if we don't communicate with people we think we disagree with, we'll never find out about the things we actually agree with each other on.
That's something that we've been saying here, for a long time. The goal of kind of what we're doing here is to get people, is to find the off-ramp, right? To prevent the meme from coming to life and the civil war from happening. The point is to try to find a way to prevent our country that we all love from descending into chaos. And so it was really bleak for a while because the left wouldn't talk. And the left essentially just said, well, everyone that supports Trump is a racist bigot. They're all deplorables, blah, blah, blah. And the people that were in positions of authority in the Democrat Party, they were repeating this. You had the media, you had Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden was saying MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country, he said. And when you have that as your starting point, then it makes perfect sense to be like, I'm not going to talk to them. They're clearly the bad guys.
I wonder if Cenk was legitimately trying to stop a civil war by saying, let's listen to them. Why didn't he start doing this when Biden got elected? Cool off the political climate. It's only when, oh my God, the popular vote went to Donald Trump. Now it's time to start listening to the other side.
I would say he started off by saying, Biden can't win. Are you nuts? We have to defeat them, but this is not the way. And they maintained Biden, basically smashed his face into the ground, figuratively, like he ran for president.
He's not
Cenk Uygur ran for president. He came on the culture war he was like, Biden can't win. What are they doing? And we argued. We talked about like Ahmaud Arbery case, and it was heated. So I told him this. He's like, hey, I now know MAGA's not my enemy or my mortal enemy. I'm like, a little thick there, huh? Like, you were basically screaming in the face of the left, we have to defeat Trump. Biden's not the guy. And then when Trump wins, he basically said, okay, what are you going to do? Like Trump, he said Trump legitimately won. He got the popular vote. He said for the longest time that Republicans were winning without the popular vote. And so we're pushing back against it. But this time Trump got it. And I think Cenk realized the Democratic Party is defeated. They wouldn't listen to him. They wouldn't listen to the people screaming Biden couldn't win. They lied out their teeth every step of the way. He tried running for president. He can't. He wasn't born in America. But now he's left with no choice. That only choice is to try and reach an olive branch out to MAGA.
One aspect of what I think, Phil, you mentioned it just a bit ago about how part of the problem from the last 8 years was that there was a communication barrier a lot of it was the media telling people don't associate with them. And it was like the deplorable, whatever it was, don't associate with them. And it was probably both sides, but there was a lot of it coming from the mainstream media.
It wasn't
a lot
both
of it.
sides.
A little bit from the underground, but a lot of it from the mainstream media. I'm concerned with these ad boycotts on Twitch. And I'm kind of tying it back into the story because it's sort of like a don't associate with them vibe again. And I know it's different because it's corporations and they're like, we're not going to associate our brand with you. But it does feel like, hey, anti-Semitic guy, bad. Don't associate with Frondo. What the hell is that guy?
Frogan.
Don't associate with Frogan.
It's a girl.
And no, associate with Frogan. Have a conversation with him. If you disagree with him, then talk to him and figure out why.
But I will say this. I can't speak to Frogan. I don't know who that is. But I think it's fair to say be careful of the people whose intentions are not to have real conversations, but to create chaos and harm people.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm not saying there should be an arbiter of who that determination is. I'm just saying trolling is fine, but some of these people are chaotic evil. And their intention is, I'll say it like this. There are people that I know, if I invited on this show, would be like, no, trust me. Like, we'll have a conversation. As soon as the camera turns on, they're going to break every rule imaginable on YouTube to try and get the show banned. Like, so some people you just are like, okay, that person's the Joker. We can't have them on.
Yeah, and also to the point that you're making, there's nothing wrong with trying to associate with people and talk to people, and I agree with the spirit of your comment, but advertisers are not people. Like if you're just like, I'm going to put up the sign for my brand, you can't have a conversation with a sign. you can't have a conversation with a commercial. So as much as I do understand what you're saying about we should talk to people that we disagree with, that's perfectly fine. I agree with that. But if you're an advertiser, if all you're doing is saying I'm looking to put my brand up, and then the person that is standing in front of the sign that has your brand is saying horrible things about Jewish people or what have you, I think that it's pretty reasonable for advertisers to say. Now, I mean, I do think that it's probably not a bad thing for some brands to say, oh, we're okay with edgier content. I think if the UFC is looking for people to advertise, you could probably have edgier, you can have edgier brands and stuff like that. But when it comes to Dunkin' Donuts, I totally get why they're like, no, don't put a Jew hater in front of our sign,
That's pretty much describing like Kick and Rumble compared to Twitch. Like Twitch was supposed to be the clean one that's more in line with what happens on Netflix as opposed to what happens on those alternative streaming sites. But then all of a sudden they turned around and said, hey, wait a minute, this is by far worse than anything we've seen on Rumble or Kick.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.